The delicious, rich, and creamy dark chocolate truffles from Cocotopia are the perfect treat after a long day during a girls' weekend or paired with a glass of wine. I think you should also eat them in the bathtub. Do you eat them in the bathtub?
I don't have a bathtub, but if I did, okay. I would.
So should we get you like a blow-up pool and we like fill it with like bubbles and wine? This is also like an Instagram photo shoot.
I love this.
And this is you in there, and like you need that.
I want champagne. And the chocolates. Yeah. Let's do this.
And also, you don't sleep. Maybe this will help you sleep. This could be. We need to get you. Need to get you a bathtub so you have a place to eat your chocolate.
I know.
You're a big fan of these.
I am. They're so delicious.
We've said it before, guys. You should
so
see her face. It's a very personal experience. You get what I mean? She's a big fan. So try them for yourself at www.cocotopia.com and enter promo code BLAME in all caps at checkout to get 50% off your first order. That's COCOTOPIA.com and enter promo code BLAME at checkout to get 50% off your first order. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. I'm sorry. I keep asking Melissa to turn my mic up, and I just want to hear myself more, but I'm loud. Okay. I'll be quieter. I just need to
just be you, and I'll just adjust here.
Thanks so much. I'll just keep doing me. Weird segue before we get into introducing this. Someone tweeted that they were like, comments when people say like, be yourself, don't ever change, like are so weird because like I've never written on a to-do list like change, don't be yourself. I was like, it's true. Like it is a very weird comment. It's like, hey, don't ever change. I was like, well, I wasn't planning on it, but thanks for the reinforcement. I wasn't gonna just fully change my life. Okay, well that adorable giggle, guys, is our guest Lisa Schwartz.
Oh, hi.
She's here. This is Blondes on the Couch. Blondes on the Couch. Doing things, being blonde on the couch. I'm thinking lots of jingles today. Mm-hmm. Everything needs a song. We should get. We shouldn't get this because I would enjoy it too much. One of those little soundboards, and I just get to like.
Oh God, no, we should
Melissa's
not
like,
get that.
Nope.
We actually don't have enough inputs here.
No,
true facts.
So,
so we wouldn't be able to do it.
I would be
Thank
like,
God.
Yeah. I don't take my Adderall and you give me a soundboard. It's like when you like the keyboards and you could change it to be like the what are the I want to call them like the Webbings version, like the fonts that aren't real letters.
That's what it is. Or wing.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
You know how like when you go to type,
it's like not the slightest clue. I was trying to
to be fair, I just compared it to something else that I didn't accurately talk about. Like I'm like, that thing that's like, and I didn't explain.
Yeah, wingdings.
I'm just like wingdings. You know what wingdings is? Like the fonts when you go into like you pick a font and it's like just characters. It's not real. You know those like old school like Casio keyboards.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you know how like you could like. If you pressed a certain button, it would sound like, yes. But you know when they did one with like dogs and animals and things like that? I was trying to relate it back to that, but I don't know why. But that's what I was going to say.
Wingdings.
Wingdings. What a weird fucking word. Oh, guys, wow. Terrible intro. But welcome to the podcast.
Or the best.
Yeah, it really describes who we are and what we do here very accurately. Wingdings.
Sounds like a wing shop. Like a
like Wingstop.
Wingdings.
Yeah, and like souvenirs too. Like a park gas station, souvenirs on the roads, like side of the road. Like, oh, come to Wingdings. Get your ding-dongs and
knickknacks and
bing bang.
Oh, guys. Well, this is an advice podcast, clearly.
So you should really listen to us.
Please, we're really smart and
qualified.
And if you guys want to call in and be on an upcoming episode, the phone number is 310-694-0976. And international listeners, you can email us an audio file at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. We were talking about this. You haven't been on since it's been at my house.
That's right. And you're still giving out. You still have advice to give.
I do.
I'm impressed.
I'm constantly be like, "This is let me my wisdom. I can give it to you." But I clearly, no offense, other guests, I never fucking remember the questions from other people's episodes except for the one with Lily, with like the girl who had sex with both the brothers.
Three, not both.
Oh yeah, 3 brothers.
Oh hell yeah,
she's amazing. But I don't remember the specific question, but I remember yours accidentally was really dark.
It was a dark episode.
Yeah, and it was like it felt like a 4-hour like event, and afterwards we're like,
it was so.
It's not usually so dark.
Now I think now we select like
more mature calls.
Yeah, and also if we do a sad one, we'll just do one. But I think with yours, we're like Lisa can handle it.
Yeah,
which I mean, there's definitely like probably some dark ones here now too.
But also when we were when she was on the first time, it was when we were doing a lot more lighter calls. You know, so in
true.
comparison, it was darker, a lot darker.
Okay, so it might still be just as dark, but we're just used to it now.
Well, I'll send you my therapy bill.
Perfect, great. We love therapy here. We're big fans. A therapist listens to our podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
We found out that last
What do
episode.
they think?
They said it's great.
Yeah.
That's all they said.
Guys,
but
that's amazing.
Yeah,
it would have been awkward if they were like, this is not.
Yeah, she called in and did a callback, and she's like, from a therapist perspective, and I fangirled like if it was someone told me that like George Clooney listened to the podcast. Like, a therapist, a real life therapist.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I feel really good about it.
I feel good for you.
I don't have a segue.
Hi, Meghan. I'm 31, so I'm a mom, and my question is very, very, I think, juicy. And also very kind of like, I don't know, weird. But I'm a very progressive mother, and I talk to my daughter about masturbation, sex, and whatnot, and, like the proper terms and stuff like that. And my daughter is only 7. So the question is, our house is the hub of the neighborhood, so all of her best friends go to our house and stuff like that. So my question is, I caught one of her best friends humping a pillow, and upon seeing that, I was like, oh, please don't do that. I just washed my pillow, and it's going to lose its shape, so please stop doing that. And then brushed it off, and she stopped doing it. But it happened a couple of times, and I am super, weirded out about it. I don't know if I should tell the parent, but my worry is that if I say it to the parent, that she might not let her child go to our house again, and she's my daughter's best friend, and we are not like the close friends, or like she's close to me because our daughters are friends. No, we're just like parents who are like, we're letting our kids play because they're best friends, kind of thing. So we're not very close. So my question is, should I tell her, or should I let my daughter tell her to stop doing that, so that way I don't have to deal with the parental issues that might arise. But my concern is that she can't keep doing that to my house, and my concern is that hopefully she's not doing it in other people's house, because our home is not just the hub of the neighborhood. My daughter goes to her best friend's house, and I don't know if I should tell the parent about it. And I don't know. So I want to know your thoughts about it. And I'm just torn.
Before we get into that, when she was like, I'm 31, so I'm a mom.
Yeah.
I wanted to die.
that hit me. That was hard.
Yeah, that was harsh in so many ways.
Yeah. Wow. I think it's pretty common. I mean, I went to school with a girl who so when I say this, I don't want like the caller to think like, oh wow, people talk about it and gossip about it. There's a girl in my class who allegedly also did this, that I didn't find out about until like way later, when like our like parents made we brought this girl up in conversation. They're like, oh yeah, do you know when you were little, like blah 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 blah. So as like her peer, we didn't fucking notice at all, and apparently like it was pretty obvious. But she ended up she was doing it at school, and so she ended up having like an adult, like a teaching aide, be with her to like help not do something like that. So I think I don't have kids, but I think it does make sense that if she's doing it at your house, that she'd probably be doing it at her own house, and probably like in other places. So part of me wants to say like her parents probably know, but at the same time, I think like it doesn't hurt to tell them, because I'm not like a child psychologist. I don't know if there's like a deeper meaning to that. For me, when I was a little kid, I had to get taken to a child psychologist because I stopped pooping, and I was like refused to poop when I was like 5.
Oh, I want to know all about that.
Apparently I just got I was just like a highly anxious kid. And then they were like, we need to bring her to a child therapist. My parents were like, no, we're not doing that. We're just gonna give her an enema. She's gonna be fine. But like, there are certain things that like can mean something different when you're a kid, because you don't really have like, it's the same thing, like it's about like projecting a lot of stuff, or like mimicking things that you see, and like not really understanding stuff. So I would say I think it's important to like just be honest and upfront. And as much as like it could totally suck and the parents could like take your kid and like they couldn't be friends anymore, I don't remember a lot from when I was 7. So like if my best friend from when I was 7, like we weren't friends anymore, I don't know how much, like it might suck, but I don't think like I don't know. I don't think that it would totally hurt your kid as much as you would think. And then also like they can still be friends at school if like the parents are being weird, right?
Yeah, I don't think this is like that abnormal.
No, I just Googled it and so many like parents on message boards are talking about it. I don't want to quote anything because I haven't found an expert that says anything, but there's a lot of different message boards that has this on there.
Yeah, it seems like she's just like discovering her body and stuff and she doesn't know the limits to it.
And it's usually not sexual, especially as a 7-year-old.
I think she should have like an open conversation with the parents, and if the parents push back, then clearly like that's their own issue that they're gonna have to work through. It's not a reflection of like that conversation. But I think it's your responsibility as a parent, if you're having a friend over, another child over that's not your child, it's not your decision to make a choice for that kid. You need to tell the parent.
Yeah. I also would say, I think like, not that I'm saying you're coming from a place of judgment, and like I definitely laughed because I just wasn't expecting when you said that. But like I think we've had people on everyone explores their bodies at very different ages. Like I know people who like started masturbating, like they touching themselves when they were in elementary school and not like knowing what it was or understanding that. So people discover all that stuff, like you said, like I think it's really common. So I think if you can come at it at like a really casual way, instead of being like, sit down, we have a serious conversation, because you said like you're very progressive family and all that stuff. And this is like super, super, super fucking normal. So I think the way to do it is just to be like, hey, I just like want to let you know, I don't know if you guys already know, I'm assuming you already do. I would love to know like what you guys do at your house and how I can help enforce how you like not reprimand, but like how you deal with it and approach the subject at your home. So I'm keeping consistent with what you guys do when this happens here. And so it's not like shaming you or being like, FYI, your daughter does this and she needs to stop. It's more along the lines of being like, okay, this is totally fine. I just don't want to like get in the way of how you guys deal with this. I just like put me on the same page so like I can deal with this too.
Totally.
What if they don't reprimand her though?
Then, I mean, does it...
That changes the how to go about bringing the subject up for them.
If they're like, oh, we don't do anything, we just like let her do it.
Yeah.
It's not hurting anyone.
Yeah.
At all.
Especially if this mom is so open. Like,
if you're
an open conversation about it.
Yeah.
I think this is super normal, and just to keep that in mind.
Yeah. Like if this was your kid and this was something that you saw your kid doing and you did your research and saw how like there's no stressors, there's nothing at home that's like creating like it's not like your kid's not like killing like squirrels, like it's something that is like super normal.
It's just humping squirrels.
Yeah, it's just humping them. And so I think like if you went to this, could just as easily and could potentially still be your kid and still doing any of this. And I think that if you are very like sex positive and talking to your daughter about all of this stuff, I think it should also translate to not just the hypothetical, like to like, oh, this is actually a thing that's happening right now. And it's not like, I mean, I definitely grew up with like a very open conversation about stuff, but it's like, but when you're old enough. And it was like, cool. So I know everything, but like, I'm not like, I don't feel comfortable talking about stuff because like, I know I'm not allowed to do, like, I know what it is, but like, I'm not allowed to do this stuff.
Oh, that's interesting.
It was very, very fucking weird and confusing. So it's like, okay, I know all of this and we talk about it all the time, but like, it just don't act on it. So I think like practice what you preach in that sense of being progressive and open and honest. And I think it's like totally harmless. And I think also if you're super worried about it, go to your go to your pediatrician and talk to them about it and figure that out. And I think the thing here is just being aligned with the same way that if your kid was doing like, okay, let's say, okay, I don't want to use that as an example, but like the same way that like if your kid was like rolling their eyes or something, and there's something that you guys say, you're like, hey, that's very disrespectful, I wouldn't like you to do that. Like, and that's something that the kid rolls their eyes at another parent or like something else. And then you want that parent like, hey, this is what we say to reinforce this. We don't say like, you're being mean or don't do that. Like we point out these things like to help, because like it is a community raising kids and all of that. So I think like come at it from that side of being like, as a mom to another mom, I know how like, yeah, we're all working really hard at doing this, and I'm not here to like mom shame or judge you. I just want to do what's best for your kid that you have decided. Like, I'm not going to like choose what that is. And then if they're not reprimanding her, I think if it really concerns you, talk to like your pediatrician about it. But otherwise, I think it's probably something she'll end up growing out of, and then just don't overstep boundaries of someone else's like parenting.
Let those parents deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's not hurting anyone.
Except for the pillow.
Except for the pillow. Yeah, maybe get like less nice pillows.
Yeah.
Just have no pillows at the house suddenly.
Oh, man.
The pillowless house.
Hi, Megan. I am 20 years old, and I'm currently a sophomore in college. And I was just calling because I need your advice about a guy. So over the summer, me and this guy met, and we worked together, and we kind of developed a sexual relationship, which then led into having feelings for each other. And there's a few things that are wrong with him in our relationship, but I don't know if I want to end it or not, so I need your advice. So we did meet over the summer, and we worked together, and he is actually 28 years old, and I'm 20. So there is an age gap. I don't think it's an issue, neither does he, but my friends think that that might be an issue later down the road. I feel like I'm very mature for my age, and I definitely get that a lot. And my mom and aunt and grandma always say they see me dating someone older. So I don't think that's an issue, but other people do. When we met over the summer, it was kind of under weird circumstances. I'm really close with my boss, who I've been working for many years, and she definitely tells me a little too much about her personal life, including her sex life, and I did find out that she had slept with this guy before when he was like 25 and she was like 45. So like that's a little weird for me and like makes the whole thing kind of uncomfortable, because if I were to go back and work for her this summer when I'm home, it just would be a weird tension. And speaking of working back home, we actually live like an hour and a half apart, so that does make things like a little tricky. When I'm home for breaks and over the summer, we live like 10 minutes apart, but when I'm down here for school, we're a little bit farther apart. And on top of all this, he like kind of is like a drug dealer, like not like in like the drug cartel or like sells hard drugs, like just like a neighborhood weed dealer. But I don't really know if that's something I want in like a future relationship, like if we were to get married and have kids or something like that. Basically, I know that I pretty much should not be talking to him anymore, but like the sex was so good, and it's like the first like adult relationship I feel like I've had. So I don't know what to do, because I really like him, I really like the sex, but I just know that long term this isn't an option for me, and I know I need to end it. So thanks for your advice. Bye.
She answered her own question.
I know. It's like you just want to tell us that the sex is good. Like you just want to tell us that.
That seems like everyone's primer for telling us.
Like, but the sex is like so good. And I'm like, yeah, but he's like a monster, but like the sex is so he's like the Babadook, but like the sex is so good.
Like how good are we all?
Yeah,
right?
like guys, we all want, like the goal is to have good sex across the board. Like if you're dating someone and it's bad sex, let's talk about that. But I'm gonna assume that you're in relationships with good sex.
Also, you're 20, and not to be like ageist or anything, but you still got like
you got
so
many good years.
Yes.
So many good years. And you
I mean literally all signs point to like get out. Yes. If you have a list of things of like that don't mesh and that are a problem, there's just so many people out in the world that you could be dating. And like just cut the cord.
Yeah.
Just cut the cord. Move on. There's better sex out there for you.
100%. And I want to just touch on you being mature for your age and everything like that. I 100% believe you. I have been told that by everyone my entire life. Like everyone's always been like, date someone older. Like you're very mature for your age and all of that. And I heard that a ton, but there got to be a point. I didn't start dating people who were like, I dated a couple who were like a year or two older than me, but I didn't date anyone like older than me. Until like older than, okay, nothing. I like the one guy I dated in high school. He was 18 when I was like 17. That's like, I want to say like I never like bridged that jump of like underage and someone overage. But when I was like a freshman, I dated a junior in college, and it wasn't until I turned like 21 or 22 that I realized I'm like, wow, I'm super mature for my age, and that's great. But it's really, really, really gross for these guys to be into me when I'm really young. It has nothing to do with how mature you are and how great you are. I agree, but at a certain point, you like it's not kosher for someone to be into you when you're that young. Like but I never had really questioned that. Like I was like, oh no, I would date someone a lot older. And like, if I'm in like if I'm like 20 and I was on a dating app and I like kept it up to 30 and I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. But the older I got, I was like, this says so much more about you and so much less about me. And Mats and I started dating when I was 22, and he was like, he's like, it literally took me like 2 fucking years of being your friend and getting to know you before I was like, okay, this isn't creepy. Like, this isn't creepy, because he's 29 now. So he's 4 years older than me. I think which isn't even that bad. But even for him, in his life, like his friends, he's like, I am by far the youngest person there. I'm always going to be the youngest of like friend group of anyone who like date and all of that stuff. And so for him, as being someone who was like in his 20s and was surrounded by people in his 20s, he didn't feel comfortable bringing a really young girl because like it was going to be perceived weird. So if someone who's like substantially older than you is like totally fine with that and like all of that, I think it's just like, you have to like, it's just not, it's just like gross to me, because
he's like this guy's like dating all over the spectrum. But that's what I mean.
It's like this is like pretty
with their
telling.
45-year-old boss.
Yeah, it's pretty telling that he's like all over the place.
Also, if you just have to continue to make excuses for your partner, then that's just that's a sign that this isn't good.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing worse. And I've been in relationships where it's like, well, but he's this, but and it's just like, no, there's so many other people out in the world. And thankfully you don't have a child with this kid. I mean, you're not that far in. So I would say like, if you are mature, then get out.
Yeah. And I think like great sex can be awesome. And like you can have great sex with people who aren't like great people, but like you can't date those people. And like if there are feelings attached and everything like that, like it's just dumb. I've definitely like had like the fuck buddy friends with benefits that like turned into more of like a relationship thing, and I was like, wow, yeah, no, there's a reason why we didn't start off dating, because like I was not attracted to you until we had sex because this was good, and now I'm like, oh, this is not what a good relationship is about. And vice versa, if like this was you and some guy, you were dating a guy, if he like listed all of these things that like didn't work with you, but like, but the sex is really good, you'd be like, well, fuck you, dude. Like totally. No, like this pussy is not for you anymore. Like you also need to like Melissa said, like you're 20, you're gonna have better sex in your life, and sex gets better the more that you're into somebody, and like there's a cap of how into this guy you can be, because you know all of this shitty stuff and you know it's not going to last and all of that. Like that emotional connection, like you're putting a very smart and necessary roadblock up there of like saying it doesn't have a future, and like the sex is never going to get better, you know?
Yeah, it's only going to get more challenging because when you're with someone for a long time.
Yeah, or what if he goes to, because I mean, you didn't say that you live in a place where it's legal to sell weed. It's not like what if he goes to jail? Like, do you want to be that girl?
No, I've watched too many documentaries.
Yeah, no, like having like, what's the thing that called like a conjugal visit?
Yeah, ooh, gross.
No, and like, is the dick that good that you do a conjugal? No. Well, let's think about that though. Can you imagine? Like, is the sex good enough that you do a conjugal visit?
Yeah.
How long? And you're gonna drive all this way? There's
probably explain it to your parents.
Yeah.
Oh, get out, girl. You're so young. You have so much time. Yeah. Move on.
And also, your boss is an overshare, and I would just like not listen to that.
You shouldn't work with her, I would think. Because this is not your like permanent job. It's just your summer job. So
yeah. Also, you're in college. Like, also, if you're gonna drive for the dick on your time off, not when you have school. Yeah. Like,
drive for the dick.
Also,
you should be driving for the puss.
And on top of that, you literally live college. You shouldn't even have to get in your car to get dick. Just walk. Walk to get the dick. Like, don't waste fucking gas on that. Like, that's just like, it is literally at your fucking fingertips, literally and figuratively. So like. Yeah, I just think
she knows though, like you could hear it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you know, and it just takes a podcast to tell you.
So we're telling you, be done with this dude.
Yeah,
you're smart. Be done with him. And also when you get to be 28, you're going to be like, what the fuck was I doing?
Yeah, we all have those.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I question that a lot. I question what I did like 3 years. No, not 3 years ago. I don't want to sound like I question why I'm with Mods, but like pre him, I'm like, what was I doing?
Don't you think it all leads to the next?
Yeah. I mean, I think like we all have to like do like stupid shit to like realize,
or not stupid. It's just learning.
Yeah, no, but like to realize like what we think we want versus what we actually want, and like realize like what we care about and all of that stuff. Because like I think we like to think we know ourselves a lot more than we do. And then it's only when you think you really know yourself and like you make a decision for like that girl that you've built up in your brain. You're like, no, this is a bad idea. That's not real. That's not me. And then you're like, oh, okay, let me refigure this out.
Totally.
I did that a lot where I was like, must be 6'4" and like must work in finance. And then I was like, oh, they're all on coke. Okay, let me redo this in my mind.
Yeah.
And I'm like, finance is boring and all of you are boring. So let me fix this again. Except Moss has a job in finance now, but don't worry.
He does.
He hates it. Okay, guys, on to the next.
Hey, so I'm 16. I just started a new job, and I've been working there a few weeks, and there's this guy. He's about 30 years older than me. He has a wife and kids, and he first started out just touching me around the waist and hugging me and putting his face up against mine, calling me gorgeous and beautiful all the time. That kind of thing. He'd grab me up by my bra line, like when he was hugging me or things like that. Then he was intentionally bumping into me, smiling at me weird, just kind of making me uncomfortable because he was so much older than me. Then he touched my butt, and that made me super uncomfortable. And a couple of days ago, he told me that the only problem with me was that I was young enough to be his little sister, but if he was 17, then I would be kidnapped by now, but in a good way. So I don't know whether I already reported it to my boss, and he kind of just brushed it off and acted like it was my fault for not reporting him. But I don't know whether I should quit or just stick it out, because he said he was going to talk to him, but it just makes me overwhelmingly uncomfortable. So yeah, just need some advice on what to do in this situation. Thank you.
Ugh. This makes me mad.
I know it's probably uncomfortable, but you should tell your parents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You should absolutely tell your parents, who will then help you. You need to contact, like, I don't know if it's a corporation but you need to contact like a higher up. Like this is not something to take lightly.
No, and it's also most certainly not the first time because he feels comfortable doing this in his place of work. So you are not the first girl he's done this to, and you're not the last. It's also not your responsibility to be like the pioneer behind a movement to getting this guy fired publicly. But you are under 18, so your name can be redacted from anything. So anything that you like say and any people that you contact and all of that stuff, if you're afraid about like this being attached to you, it won't be because you're under 18 and you have to give consent for that.
That's good.
Yeah. So I think that's like a huge part of like, like a lot of victims of like sexual assault and harassment, you don't necessarily want to be, a voice behind the movement, which is completely fine. Like everyone's journey is like their own, but yeah, because you're under 18 that you won't be in general.
Tell an adult, like, and if you're not comfortable with your parents, if there's like a school counselor or somebody, you need help. You need someone to help back you up because obviously your boss is not taking this seriously.
And you need to tell whoever you about the fact that you've told your boss and he has not done anything yet, because this guy should be in trouble.
And so I just looked this up on the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. And so it says if your supervisor doesn't take you seriously, the next step is like the law protects you from retaliation. So you can complain about the harassment to the police as well. And you can always file a discrimination or anything about harassment with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission as well.
Yeah.
So I'll put these links in the
that's
show
great
notes.
information. Yeah. And it's scary. Like that's scary. I'm sorry that that's happening to you.
I being when you're that young too, and it's like your first job and all of this stuff.
And
like,
good for you for having a job at 16.
Like, and it's a very hard thing to navigate. Being I don't want to refer to you as a kid, but like when you're a kid in an adult world, and you want to be taken seriously as an adult, and then adults tell you like you're fine and everything's okay. Like we're taught to kind of like trust that, especially when like you're a new employee and things like that. But your instincts are right. Like this is like not okay, and he shouldn't. Yeah, it's not okay on any level. And I also like want to reiterate, even if he was your age, this isn't okay. Even if he was younger than you, it's not okay. If it was a woman, it's not okay. Like, it doesn't matter. If it's a family member and if it makes you uncomfortable, it's not okay. And regardless of age, and that makes like legal issues, but like just in general, if someone does something that makes you feel uncomfortable, you don't have to tell the person that it makes you feel uncomfortable. That doesn't like, it's not like a missed opportunity. It's like, oh, well, you didn't tell them it made you feel uncomfortable. If you're a fucking normal human being, you would know that that's not an appropriate thing to do. And he knows that and he's still doing it. Tell somebody that you trust who is an adult because they legally have to take action. Know that your fucking boss saying like, oh, well, you should have reported it. First of all, you did report it to him. Mm-hmm. But in general, if anybody tells you like, oh, you should have said something, like they didn't know any better and that sort of thing, be like, move on, talk to somebody else, because that's not a response from somebody who's ever going to be on your side. And you don't need to convince anyone to be on your side, because like, look how quickly you have us being like, this is fucking disgusting and wrong. Yeah. So yeah, you just need to tell somebody. And even if it's not your parents, like a friend's parents or
but an adult
someone over 18.
Mm-hmm. Your counselor at school.
Yeah.
And this is just like a blanket thing that Brittany Louise Taylor brought up when she was on, is to document any type of harassment, the day when it happened and where you were.
And I bet there's security cameras too.
There might be.
Like, I bet there's like a whole other slew of that stuff. But yeah,
but you needed to say something.
And you can quit and still say something. You don't need don't go back there. Don't if that's, I mean, I don't think you should in general, but like even if they switch your shifts around and like you're not with him, like you have every right to quit. And quitting doesn't mean that you still can't fight for this and like get him to like, that's not, quitting isn't, I'm not like, not that it's not the solution, but like you don't have to stick it out to like go through the process of like, the legal on him. But yeah. Okay, guys, it's time for a quick break and we will be right back. Long day at work, tough day at school, still stuck at the office? Are you unemployed like me and you're just hungry and lazy? That's my big mood 2019. Treat yourself to the meal that you deserve on demand from your favorite restaurant with DoorDash. DoorDash connects you to all of your favorite restaurants in your city. Just use DoorDash app to choose what you want to eat and your Dasher will bring it to you wherever you are. With over 310 amazing restaurants in over 3,300 cities across the U.S. and Canada. That's Canada, guys. DoorDash lets you order from your local go-tos as well as your favorite chains like Chipotle, Wendy's, Chick-fil-A, and the Cheesecake Factory. Are you Skinnylicious, guys? You got that Skinnylicious menu? Let dinner come to you with DoorDash. We are big fans of DoorDash. We're big fans of food. I'm a big fan of anything that arrives while I'm not doing anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I get that. I mean, even a couple weeks ago, I gave Meghan the wrong time to be here.
Granted, no, I have to assume more responsibility. Every time was listed normally, and there was a random. It was 11, and then everything else. No, everything was listed as 11 a.m. and then mine was listed as 1. And I really should have noticed that, like, that's not how time works. Like,
but it's totally my fault. But we were sitting here, and I was like, let's order lunch. So I used DoorDash and ordered food from Chipotle.
Yeah, it was great. I had 2 dinners that day. I literally ate that, and then I was like, I might eat something else now too. Big fans, guys. So right now, our listeners can get $5 off their first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter promo code BLAME. That's $5 off your first order when you download the DoorDash app from the App Store and enter promo code BLAME. One more time. That's promo code BLAME for $5 off your first order from DoorDash. Own iconic luxury items at unreal values with The RealReal, the leading reseller of authenticated luxury from top designers. Shop from designers like Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Rolex, Cartier, and hundreds more at up to 90% off retail. New arrivals come in daily, and every single item is authenticated by The RealReal's team of experts. In fact, The RealReal employs over 100 brand authenticators, gemologists, horologists, and art curators from around the globe who inspect thousands of items each day to ensure that every item is 100% authentic. Shop and consign women and men's luxury fashion as well as fine jewelry, watches, art, and home. Shop online or visit one of their original stores in Soho or West Hollywood or their newest location at 870 Madison Avenue in New York City. You can also visit one of the luxury consignment offices in Chicago, Dallas, Miami, San Francisco, or Washington, D.C. And new in-store customers receive an automatic $25 off at checkout. So guys, we've officially not converted Aislinn, but Aislinn has one of my only friends who listens, and stop right there. That's it. No, but also one of my friends who listens to the podcast
and has been on the podcast numerous times.
You guys know her. You love her. Everybody loves her. She actually came over the other day with a bag of stuff that she had gotten from the RealReal. And when you were a kid and you go shopping and then you do a fashion show for your family. Well, we just live here. So then she brought it over and tried everything on. I was like, so cute. Love that. Model those jeans for me. She got a really cute pair of Reformation jeans. Very cute, and she also is equally just as big of a fan, and I am a huge fan too. You guys know I love shopping there. It is genuinely, I actually check it every day. I literally know. I'm like, oh, this was up, this was posted yesterday, this was posted today. I am so up to date, it's insane. It's my number one bookmark on my computer. Shop in-store, online, or download the app and get 20% off select items with the promo code REAL. That's the RealReal.com promo code REAL for 20% off select items. If there's something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals, Betterhelp Online Counseling can help. Betterhelp offers licensed professional counselors who are specialized in issues such as depression, anxiety, relationships, trauma, anger, family conflicts, LGBT matters, grief, self-esteem, and more. Connect with your personal counselor in a safe and private online environment and get help at your own time and at your own pace. Anything you share is completely confidential, and it's so convenient. You can schedule secure video or phone sessions, as well as chat and text with your therapist. If for some reason you are not happy with your counselor, though, you can request a new one at any time for no additional charge. Best of all, it is a truly affordable option. Don't blame me with Meghan Rienks listeners. Even get 10% off your first month with the discount code BLAME. So why not get started today? Go to betterhelp.com/blame. Then simply fill out a questionnaire to help them assess your needs and get matched with a counselor you'll love. That's betterhelp.com/blame. Ready? Let's go.
Hi guys, I'm 20. I currently live with my boyfriend after not having the best experience with roommates, which kind of ties into my question. I am pregnant, and he travels out of town for his jobs for weeks at a time, which makes our relationship much harder. I am going to go to my first prenatal appointment, and I would have loved if he would have been there with me, but he can't because of work, and I asked my mother to come with me. His mom happens to live in another state. If not, I would have totally been okay with her joining me also. Anyway, he wants one of our ex-roommates, which happens to be a family member on his side, come too, if his mom can't. And he said if he can't go and this person isn't invited, then my mom can't go. I really don't want this other person to come because they made me feel really uncomfortable when we found out about the pregnancy. And honestly, just last week, right before I moved, it was just too weird and there was some tension. Since then, I was told by my boyfriend that I don't consider his people or his family, which kind of hurt because I feel like he doesn't defend me to our ex-roommates, or he takes their side for whatever reason. And I really don't want to go to this appointment alone, but I don't even know what to do with this relationship in general. I don't feel like he thinks my feelings are valid. I love him. I just don't feel like I can say anything or make any decision without him giving me some sort of attitude for it. Anyway, love your podcast. Thanks. Bye.
Oh God, I want to cry.
I know, me too.
Oh no.
Yeah. Fuck. I know you love him, but this is toxic and
he's controlling.
Yeah, which it's emotional abuse and withholding the fact that your mom can't come to your first prenatal appointment if his family can't go. That you have uncomfortable
it's not a fucking party.
No.
It's a doctor's appointment.
And it's your fucking body.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, men, you shoot out sperm 1,000,000 miles a fucking minute. And great, no, I don't care what anyone fucking says about like birth and like motherhood, but like fatherhood or whatever, like if you are the woman carrying the baby, like you call the fucking shots. If there was not you, there would be no baby.
And you need your mom.
Yeah.
Like, you need your mom's support. It does sound like there might be a place, like if he's willing to, they're having communication problems, obviously.
Yeah.
If he's willing to like go to therapy and like, because you are pregnant, you are starting to build a life, and if you like want to try with that relationship, like it sounds like he's like active. I'm trying to like,
it seems like though he doesn't trust her. Like, why does he want one of his family members? Why do they have to be there?
That's a very selfish, weird.
And also, if you had issues with your roommates and they also reacted badly to the pregnancy, like it's weird because he's like disassociating himself from that reaction, which is in regard to the pregnancy, as if like he has nothing to do with the pregnancy and he took their side. Yet now with the appointment, it's no longer your pregnancy, it's our pregnancy, and this is what I want with my family. Like he's selectively choosing when it's convenient for him. And like you said, it's a family member that you used to live with and he's picking their side. I think that like you right now, I think you went from, like you said, it was a bad living situation with roommates. I think you went from like a toxic, like that environment to one that might be slightly less toxic or slightly less outwardly toxic. And it just might not be working. And I think like you said, like if you want him to be a figure in your child's life and all that, that's 100% your call. And if you want to like work on the relationship, I think the only way you can do that is in therapy, because you're saying that like you can't bring up anything without him like getting upset or at it. It's like you can't bring up anything about how you feel without him doing that. So you've tried and it gets to a certain point, which I'm a huge proponent of couples therapy. I think it's great. And there gets to be a point where like I think a lot of people, and no offense, men in general, because I've gotten a lot of messages from you guys about it, of being like, oh, I really want to, but like my partner said that like we should be able to figure it out on our own. And it's like, well, if you could, you would have already done it by now. And if you can't figure it out on your own and you really care about each other, well, let's try this, because it's not suddenly one day a switch isn't going to flip because you get in these habits and the communication and all of these issues. And I think like even if you guys don't end up wanting to stay together or whatever, I think going once might also give you a little bit of peace of mind of being like, oh, my feelings are valid. I'm not crazy. I'm allowed to feel this way. And this isn't normal, because a therapist will be super, super straightforward and honest about like, he will have to explain his reasoning of like, oh, this is why I don't want that. And a therapist can be like, well, I think that's very selfish. And I don't think that is considering her. And maybe you just need to hear, and maybe even hearing it from us, that that's not like, I don't know, you sound isolated, which makes me really sad.
Yeah, reach out to your family. Don't let him get in your head that you need to like only associate with his family. That's culty a little bit.
It
like,
is.
He can't tell you what to do.
No. And
I'm so sorry. This is like really heartbreaking to me.
Yeah, because it should be like even if it's not necessarily like planned, like when you're in a relationship and you decide to like move forward with a pregnancy, like it should be a happy thing. Like it should be like, oh my God, this is going to be great. This is going to be awesome and everything like that. And I don't want you to feel like that because you guys have decided to like have a kid, and because you've decided to like continue on with this pregnancy and have a kid, that means you have to take how your relationship is right now as like, okay, I just have to be okay with it. Like that something needs to change, and now you have someone else to think about too. That's not just you.
Oh, we're sending you
lots of love. And I hope the appointment goes well.
Yeah.
And yeah. Ultrasounds. Woo! The weird cold gooey thing on your belly. I only know that from like a gynecologist. I don't know that from like I've only had the ultrasounds when they're like, let's look at your ovaries. Look, they're over here.
Fun.
Yeah, it's a fun time. I know where they all are. Not all two of them are in my body. It's over here on this side.
Did you have a party where they're all the family members there?
Yeah, and then it brought everyone. I just like had my legs spread wide open. I was like, bring them all in. Bring the interns of the hospital. Does the receptionist want to come in? Who wants to give it a go with like the internal one? Everyone can stick it on up.
Oh God.
It's a good time. It was so fun. Okay. We're going to the next.
Hi, Megan. I'm not going to say my real name, but well, call me Liz. I'm just calling because I'm kind of struggling with some sexual trauma, and I do see a therapist, but it helps to talk to someone besides your therapist sometimes. So I just kind of wanted to get your opinion
on how to handle this. So a little bit of a backstory. I've dealt with a lot of sexual trauma in my life because I've been really submissive, and that stems from my childhood. But basically, I've been really submissive with men, especially in high school and college, and now I'm a lot better about it. So, like, in college, I had like a situation where I was drunk and there was rape. And then when I was younger in high school, there were a couple of situations of like sexual assault. And the older I get, it seems the more I realize I've been through, because I guess I just suppressed it or didn't even really know what it was. So recently, I thought about this guy that I know I slept with, and it was a one-time thing. And I realized that I had no recollection, even when it happened, I had no recollection the next day of what happened. I knew we had sex, but I had no recollection at all from like the last moment I remember is like drinking a beer and then the next moment waking up. So I never thought about the possibility of being drugged, but I actually watched The Bachelor, which made me think maybe that's what happened, and I don't really know how to process it or handle it because I obviously can't figure out for sure what happened. So I just wanted to see if you had any advice about how to process the situation and kind of where to go from here. So anyway, thanks for your advice. Oh, and I'm 25. You asked for the age. I'm 25. But thanks.
God damn. I have no idea what to say.
Well, you should be really proud of yourself. You're very self-aware, and obviously you've done a lot of work, and whoever your therapist is seems to be working with you really nicely. Like you're able to sort of step back and you know, put the pieces together of past traumas that you've had. And so for that, like, you should really give yourself some credit for doing the work, because that's hard work. Like, I think, you know, giving yourself a moment to be proud of yourself for the work you've done up to this point.
Oh, you're going to make me cry. Oh, you're going to make,
don't you think though?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we're not the experts on this, so I wouldn't know. I think continuing your therapy journey, I don't know. That's a huge discovery to be making right now.
Yeah. I'm not gonna look at you, so I won't cry. I've been in a very similar situation. And I am not going to cry. I went to therapy twice this week already. I have no more tears left in me.
There's always a few more down there.
It's very true. And I, to be perfectly honest, also have no idea what to do. And like, it's something that when you get older, and like, I think especially now in like the Me Too movement and things like that, like, I think a lot of women in general are having these things kind of click, and you're like, I don't think that if I slept with somebody, or I think I slept with somebody, and then the next time I see them, I have this terrible pit in my stomach. Maybe there's a reason there, and there's that stuff. So, I mean, I think like something that you obviously know from therapy, and I think like, I understand when you're like, well, I don't like, you want to get other people's input. The things that I've started to learn is like, there are some things that like we're not going to have the answers to, and that we don't know. And all we know is our feelings. And the only thing that we can do is address those feelings. And we can't go back in time, and we can't address what happened. And because there's no changing what happened. And we're also, you're never going to know what exactly happened, but you do know how you feel about it. And whether it's like in regards to anything, a lot of the things with therapy, it's, retraining yourself from the decision making or behavior or coping mechanisms and things like that. But when it comes to traumatic events that you have no control over, there's nothing that you can do that's like, okay, well, now what did I learn from this? Because there is nothing to learn from that. All there is to address your feelings and how you feel, And sometimes that's talking about it with your friends, that's talking about with your therapist, with other people. Sometimes it's
support groups.
Yeah, sometimes it's time. Sometimes it's reading about the fact that this has happened to so many other people. Sometimes it's volunteering for people who have been through similar things. It's researching and reading and education about sexual trauma, and like even like if you're like interested in like what it's like if you're interested in like what roofies are, or what are these things that like learning about stuff. Knowledge is power, and I think like when you're in these situations and you don't know things, it can be incredibly frustrating because you feel totally powerless. And I think the only thing you can do from there is trust your instincts and trust how you feel, and know that like if you're in another situation where you feel uneasy about something, like go with your gut on that. And sometimes really shitty, terrible things happen, and they happen for no reason. There's no necessary lesson to be learned, and we're just hurt and upset and like frustrated and affected by it. And there isn't necessarily a silver lining. It's just something that we all, no, hopefully not all, but like that we just have to go through, and it's just something that happens. And I think that you just need to be like really kind to yourself, and like you said, like be so proud of the work that you've done in therapy and like how self-realized you are and all of this. And that one of the things that like I've learned in therapy so much is like people, the trauma and things affect people in different ways, and your brain, especially if you're a kid or you're younger or some like the stars aren't aligned or whatever, your brain will be like, too much, they can't handle that right now, putting that away. And so if these things are coming up for you now at 25, also 25, lots of things coming up in my life, it's because you are so mature and your brain is being like, you know what, she's ready for this. So know that that's what's happening, and anything that you've suppressed or any of those feelings, as much as it sucks to be like, have I suppressed it for my whole thing? I'm like, if I suppressed it for so long, why do I keep suppressing it for the rest of my life? Like, I don't want to fucking deal with it. My therapist is like, no, your brain is telling you now, like, you're ready for this. Like, think of this as like this very empowering, like adult moment, that like your mind is a very powerful thing. It's been protecting you from these things for so long that like now you're ready to deal with it. It's not like they stopped trying and stopped working at it. It's not like they're like giving up on you and being like, oops, sorry, like forgot how to like lock the like briefcase full of like trauma. It's because you're ready. So I think like as much as it sucks to like be like, wow, I'm strong enough to deal with trauma. They don't have like ABC. That's not on like the greatest race, like the Amazing Race, the greatest race. There's like, this isn't going to be useful in like a competition reality show with strength. But yeah, I think it should be something that just know that like you're strong enough to handle it. And the more that you talk about it with like your therapist or whoever you want to talk about it with, I think it's incredibly sad, but also very reassuring and helpful to hear people who've had similar stories. Because yeah, I think that's now that everybody's talking about it, that's how these things stop happening. And like, that's how these things change and get better and all of that stuff. And to everybody, watch your drink at parties. It's terrible and terrifying. Pour yourself your own drinks. That was like a thing that I learned after my first week of freshman year in college. And I was like, new place, cool. This is not safe. I have to do all this myself. And yeah, and make sure when you talk to like your other female friends or your friends in general, that is something that you guys do for each other. I don't think I let a guy make me a drink until Mats and I started dating. That he was like, let me make you a drink. And I was like, okay, sure, you can make me. But no, at any party, I was like, no, I got this myself. Yeah, just watch, or in general, just like watch your drinks. Hand over it the whole time.
Leave your house.
That's what I do now. I'm just like, yeah, I don't leave my house except for therapy. It's it. But yeah, hold your hand over the drink the whole time. Yeah. And also not to scare people, but like when you go to hotel bars and things like that, be wary, because there have been a lot of influx of that happening at hotels too. So just make sure you watch people pouring you stuff and giving you stuff. And if you're concerned about that, something that's like a single serve, like beer or something like that, ask for it unopened. And yeah, so this makes me really upset. But I'm so glad you're in therapy. Therapy's great.
Yeah. And I think empowering is like the word that you walk away from with this.
Yeah, and you shared your story with so many people now too, so this can help someone else.
And you brought us both. I think this is the only time we've ever been. But I've ever been like, I cried once before, but that was like unrelated.
That was totally different.
That was totally different. But it's the only time like we both like two people have cried like or gotten close related to like the call. So. Wow. Oh. Yeah, you almost made me have my third cry of the day. How mean. I'm kidding. I mean, not of the day.
Third time's the triumph.
Of the week. I feel like I've cried more. Tears are not fun. But yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I hope that, like, I know that I didn't really give any, like, specific coping things, but hopefully it helped to even just, like, talk about it and
know you're on the right path and you got all those tools. She's got those tools.
Yeah, you've got them. And it's good to talk, like even me having a therapist, like two therapists, it's all, I understand the thing of wanting just to talk to other people who aren't them. And sometimes you want someone to like talk, because therapists don't always like talk back. They just kind of let you go. So I think like follow that instinct of like talk to your friends, like talk to anyone that it comes up that you feel comfortable and that you think it would help you in your journey to healing, which sounds like a rehab center, but you know, it's a good thing.
A really like nice one.
Oh yeah, Malibu. Yeah. So now this is Don't Blame Them, and this is where listeners call in with their own advice based on like personal experience. So if we had like an episode about like threesome, someone would like, hey, I had a threesome, which so many of you have had threesomes, by the way.
I'm proud of you girls.
Yeah, I
am missing out.
I know.
Me too.
I'm very, if I wasn't such like a hyper crazy jealous person, like, yeah, you guys do it for me. I'm living vicariously through you.
I feel so brutal.
Yeah. So what's this one about?
So this one is from the episode that we had with Mott. And this girl was freaked out because her friend was getting married after only knowing a guy for 6 months.
Oh, yeah.
And so this is someone calling with similar experience.
So this is actually a response for the episode with Mott. For the girl whose best friend is getting married after only being with the guy for 6 months. Also, sorry if my voice is raspy. I'm getting sick. But I'm 21 years old, and I actually have an extremely similar experience to this. Right out of high school when we graduated, my best friend at the time and our other best friend decided they were just going to get married. They hadn't been dating. Like, we've been friends with this guy for like a year, like crazy. They decided they were going to get married 6 months after graduation. And I expressed to her, like, I don't think this is a good idea. You know, you guys haven't even been boyfriend and girlfriend, period. A little crazy. And what ended up happening is my best friend ended up eloping. And I went to a party to celebrate their marriage, and then I never heard from her again because she said I didn't support her marriage. So my advice is honestly just to be there for her, because the only thing that expressing your concerns is going to do is alienate the friendship. And I hope that maybe my experience can help her. Thank you. Bye.
We need to find that girl
and see what happens.
Yeah, where is she?
You know,
she probably like is still around, but she just doesn't talk to her anymore.
I feel like they were dating.
In my mind, she disappeared off the face.
She said, I never heard from her again.
All I heard, my mind went like they eloped, and then I never I was like, where did she go?
I've been listening to a podcast about cults recently, so everything I'm like, they're in a cult.
Yes,
like every answer is like it's a cult.
My parents were friends with people in the Synanon one. Isn't that crazy?
All the details.
Yeah,
I'm upset.
And they don't know a lot. I think there's a lot of like drugs involved. My parents were like, I don't know, they were fine. They wore red or white or whatever color they wore.
Weird.
Yeah, it's so weird,
dude. Those people were for sure dating behind everyone's back.
Yeah, because
for sure,
there's no way that that's like, how the fuck do you have that conversation about being like, hey, want to get married?
Yeah, like straight out of high school.
And if you've never like, have they had sex? Have they made out? Have they kissed? Like, how do they know? Like,
they have. Their friends
was she pregnant?
Oh.
Or are they in a cult?
Are they in a cult? Yeah. I mean, I think like no offense to your like ex-friend or whatever, but like that's like next level weird shit. So I think like you kind of, not that I want to say like you dodged a bullet with that one, but like there's definitely something else going on. So I think like as much as like being supportive is like a great thing for people, like what they need if they're gonna like make bad decisions, I don't think you should handhold someone as they make a bad decision. I think like that can be said with a look when they're like, are you excited? You're like, yeah, I'm so excited. Like you can have your feelings be like, your concerns be known, but at the end of the day, it should be my care and respect. I'm making a hand gesture for anyone who's watching and listening. So I think like your top priority and that your friend should always know that is them and that you're going to support them and you care about them. And then the next thing should be concern. I don't think that like your concern shouldn't trump your friendship with somebody. Like they should still be like, well, I know that my friends aren't, and like I've been like, my friends have not supported my decisions. And I'm like, okay, yeah, they don't support my decisions, but like they're still around and like they're going to deal with it. It'll be fine. But like, yeah, it should never get to a point where you're creating an ultimatum because it does just push people away. But I think a healthy level of concern is good because that's how we don't get like, that's how
in a cult.
Yeah, we don't get in a cult. Exactly. Like,
wow. Okay. All day to the very end.
That was a big one though. Yeah. That was one of the biggest ones I've ever had. I was afraid I lost part of it. Okay, guys. Well, with that, that is the end of our episode. If you guys want to be on an upcoming episode, you can leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. And if you are an international listener, you can leave us an email. Record an audio message. No, I'm not going to do that.
Where did this come from?
It's not my real accent either. I was just, trying. My Australian one's gotten pretty good recently. Mm-hmm. Cockney. I was in Oliver Twist twice.
Ooh.
I played a prostitute, Bet, but they called her a lady of the night. Because it was elementary school and then high school. And they were like, or middle school. They're like, no, this is too much.
Lady of the night.
Lady of the night. You guys can email us an audio file at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. And Lisa, plug your shit.
Oh.
Plug your book.
I have a book coming out end of August.
Yes.
It's called 30 Life Crisis.
Hell yeah.
It's all about surviving your 30s. But I do think that it's applicable to all ages. It's just like things people don't warn you about in life. And just reminder that you're doing all right, even if you're doing it your own way.
Oh, I'm excited. Isn't writing a book terrible?
It has been such a process.
Dude, it's the worst. I don't recommend it to anybody. I hate it.
I loved it, but it's super isolating. And then I go like down spirals where I'm like, wait, is this good? Like so much self-doubt, but it's been very therapeutic. I tell stories about things that I've been holding in for a long time. And hopefully like it helps someone. And if not, it like makes them fucking laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hopefully my boyfriend will stay with me after he reads it.
That's a big one.
Because it's all about like before him.
You're like, so I was figuring it out. And now we're happy and things are good.
Yes.
Yes.
But I'm really excited. It's on pre-sale now on Amazon.
Guys, get it. And then where can people follow you online? Did you already say that part?
Oh, just Google me.
Google her. There's a lot of results. You should estimate how many results. How many results do you think there are?
Well, there's another Lisa Schwartz.
Oh.
That
should
I think
we kill her?
Yes, we should. She's in the she's some like movie person, but she also seems to go everywhere I go where we have like accounts. So like I'll say my name and they'll be like, there's two Lisa Schwartzes at like Capital Drugs and at like the drugs.
Whoa,
like,
that's so funny.
Yeah. So one day I'll meet her.
Yeah. But you're like the top result.
So that's it, guys. If you're listening to this, you can check out the video version on YouTube. And if you are watching, go check out the audio version. We always say, if you go to our website, don'tblameme.show, you'll figure out where to listen to us. But, Stitcher, podcast app, Spotify, SoundCloud, all of the other stuff that I don't really remember the names. Wherever you get your podcast, we're there.
If you Google it, it comes up. Yeah, but put Megan's name on it.
Because fucking Taylor Swift wrote a goddamn song called "Don't Blame Me."
Oh man,
I know.
You should sue her.
Yeah, I feel like that'll go really well.
Right.
I'm surprised we haven't been like, "Hey, you need to change your podcast name." Taylor Swift made a song. I feel like if we weren't first though, we would have been.
I think so too.
Fully hit with that.
All my Taylor Swift parodies.
Yeah, that camp is
innocent, man.
on top of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have our socials listed down below too, and we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, or
Namaste.
hear you next time. Namaste. Whatever struggles you are facing, from depression and anxiety to trauma and grief, Betterhelp can connect you with a professional counselor in a safe and private online environment. It's so convenient. You can schedule secure video or phone sessions, as well as chat and text with your therapist. And anything you share is completely confidential. Best of all, it is a truly affordable option. Don't Blame Me with Meghan Rienks listeners even get 10% off your first month with the discount code BLAME. So why not get started? Simply go to betterhelp.com/blame and fill out a questionnaire to get matched with a counselor you'll love today. Don't Blame Me is a production by me, executive produced by Melissa DeMonts, camera operator Amanda Lechner, production assistance by Julie Carley, and music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso, part of the HerPod Network.